Well, the government's largest call center. They're threatening to strike unless they get higher wages and better benefits. They went on strike for a single day in June. They made it clear at this rally that they will not go to work when it's time to renew federal health benefits if their demands are not met. Here is some more of the speakers from today's event.
Today we're standing together to put Maximus on notice that workers are prepared to go on strike during the Medicare and Affordable Care Act open enrollment period unless Maximus addresses their demands. Let me repeat that. So I want to make sure that they hear me and that y'all hear me. We are prepared and we will go on strike during the Medicare and Affordable Care Act open enrollment period unless Maximus addresses their demands. And I'm here to deliver a message to you, Maximus workers, that I and all of CWA, I, as your newly elected international president, have your back. And I will stand with you in your fight for living wages, affordable health care, for a real voice on the job, and for racial and economic justice. When we fight, we are going to win in the end. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I came a long way to be with workers who want to make a difference in the workplace. But you know, you want to be respected in the workplace. And so for a guy who doesn't represent this area, but I identify with your mission. I identify because all you want is the ability to organize and choose the right to have representation in the workplace. And that's what you're doing here at Maximus, and I support you for that. More importantly, for those of you who go to work every day, you expect to be respected and paid a fair wage. Not just a living wage, but a fair wage. Now, what does that mean? In order to get what you want, you're going to have to stick together. And this is part of the process. This company makes $2 billion a year of federal contracts, and they can't pay you better than what they're paying you now. You know, you give people a raise, then you raise the deductible. You give them a raise, then you raise the contribution for the health care. That's not, you know, that's smoke and mirrors, because that doesn't put anything on the table. So part of the reason I'm here is to let you know that there are a lot of people who don't live in the Hattiesburg area who are with you. There are a lot of people who understand this cause. But in unity, there's strength. You have to stick together. Now,
Folks, joining us right now are a couple of members of the Maximus Organizing Committee, Sylvia Walker from Bogalusa, Louisiana, and Katherine Charles from Tampa. Glad to have both of you here. I'll start with you, Sylvia. So for folks who don't know, explain, what do y'all actually do?
I am at Maximus, and I'm a dual, what's called a dual. I work for the Affordable Care Act, signing people up for insurance. And I also work for Medicare.
So when folks are calling about the Affordable Care Act regarding benefits, you're one of the folks they're talking to, walking them through what it means?
Yes, I am.
Got it.
Along with others. We're completing applications, answering questions, assisting them with whatever they need when they're wanting to sign up or have questions about, are they eligible to sign up?
How about you, Katherine?
Hi, I've been working for Maximus for 9 years now. I work for Marketplace, which is the Affordable Care Act. I do not do Medicare. So I do help people with enrolling into health insurance, assisting them understand how health insurance work. If they have any problems with the insurance company, their insurance get canceled, or any questions that they have, that is what I'm here for. Also, as an internal support group, I also assist not only the consumers, but I am responsible for teaching my fellow CSRs or representatives that are new on the floor and they don't know how to find a script, where to look for. If they don't know how to read an escalation or how to do an escalation, I'm there to do that. I take tier 1 calls as well as tier 2 calls, as well as supervisor calls. So when the consumer called and asked for a supervisor, I'm the one answering those calls.
So you're focusing on pay and other benefits. So Sylvia, what is the pay like, and what are y'all asking for?
We're asking for a wage that we could live on. The pay is not good. As you can hear from what I said previously, I'm working 2 jobs and being paid for 1 job.
Now, what are they doing? Are they paying hourly? Are they paying salary? What are they paying? And what's the average wage of workers?
Okay. So the customer service representative, and that's what I am, dual. My salary is about $17 an hour. And there are some that make a little bit less, from what I understand. And then there are others that make a little bit more. And so you're putting a lot on your plate to provide the services that are needed for our community, people in our community, our communities, and then we're not being paid for that. No customer service representative that works for Maximus should be concerned about how they're going to pay the rent, how they're going to eat, how they're going to manage their home if they have to get sick, or if they get sick. So that's a problem. When you have us working, we're doing our best to serve our community, to do the job to the fullest of our abilities, and then we're not paid. We're in the food pantry line. That makes no sense.
How many hours are y'all working per day?
We work 8 hours a day. And some have a 10-hour day.
And Katherine,
a 4-day week.
And how many employees are we talking about?
Oh, it's a lot. In Tampa, Florida, and here in Tampa, we have thousands of employees. Most of those employees are females, single mothers like me. For bilingual representative like me, the base pay is $18.70 a month. And
I'm sorry. You mean an hour?
An hour. Yeah,
got
I'm sorry.
It. Okay, got it. All right. So Sylvia, you said about 17. You said the base pay, but being bilingual, about 18.70. What are y'all asking for? What are you asking it to be raised to? Sylvia, you first.
$25 an hour. That's more like it.
$25 an hour. And what else are you asking for Maximus?
We're asking for better benefits. Our deductibles are high, and we can't afford these deductibles. If you don't go to the doctor or use your health care often, if you're just getting the basic office visit, wellness visit, we can't pay that deductible.
How much is it?
And then pay for the visit.
How much is it?
I think it's $2,500.
Whoa. 2,500?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. That is so for that office visit, you're paying $2,500.
Well, they can ask you to pay the deductible along with the visit.
Right.
Yeah, they can ask you for that. A provider can ask that.
Wow.
The way the insurance is set up is that you have to meet the deductible first. I work teaching people about deductibles, co-pays, and for us at Maximus, you have to meet the deductible. So if you go to your first doctor visit, you're not going to be paying a co-pay. You're going to pay the full visit until you meet that $2,500 out of pocket.
I mean, what's crazy is here y'all are trying to help people placing phone calls regarding the Affordable Care Act, and you're talking about having health care issues with your employer.
Exactly.
Correct.
Questions from our panel. Reese, you first.
Yeah, there's been reports of retaliation for people speaking out and being involved in this collective action. Are you all concerned about that, or do you feel pretty secure in your positions, like in terms of your immediate leadership?
Well, in my case, I do feel very concerned. this year, 2 days before Mother's Day, because there was a lot of people organizing, more than 700 employees were let go. They contacted CSRs to a meeting room, and they explained that you have 2 weeks to go. And they did it throughout national. It's not like one call center only. It was everywhere. And we don't have job security where I can say, well, I'm doing a good job, they're not going to fire me. They can get rid of me at any time for any reason, and they don't care how tenured you are. I know people on that round of layoff that were there for 14 years, and they had a Q quality score. They were responsible for the job. They did a good job, and they still got let go. Not a specific reason why, or well, they said that because of low call volumes, they had to let these people go. But imagine that you're being let go. You're a mother with a family that you have to take care of. And when you go to the Maximus website, they're hiring people and they're opening other sites. So how does he explain that you're being fired because of low call volume, but you're hiring extra people?
Lauren.
Do y'all know if there's any history of Maximus call center agreeing with workers in other negotiations in the past?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. In other words, have there ever been a negotiation where they said, maybe 5 to 10 years ago, we will come to the table and give you some of the things that you are asking for? Have you ever heard of that in the past?
I have not. I have been a part of the organizing since Maximus came to Louisiana, Bogalusa, Hattiesburg, and I have not heard of that. We've been working to try to organize. They have been union busting, doing everything they can to stop us or to shut us down, calling the police on us when we were simply passing out flyers for information for our coworkers. I mean, just crazy, putting us off the property. Yes.
Wow. Thank you.
So they're not willing to negotiate.
Greg.
Thank you, Roland, and thank you, Ms. Walker and Ms. Charles. Reading up a little bit on Maximus, the way it looks, and we heard Congressman Thompson say $2 billion, but that was actually just for the first 2 quarters of this year. If I have it correctly, they're projecting as much as $5 billion in earnings this year, and a multi-billion-dollar international company with like nearly 40,000 employees in 10 countries. I mean, getting rid of 700 people earlier this year, and of course, in the wake of the one-day action you all had, I guess my question is, the excuses they're giving, and reading some of the conditions y'all working under reminds me of Amazon, and in terms of what these union busting they're trying to do, they're saying that, people getting put off the rolls means there's a slowdown in call volume. Has that been either of y'all's experience between people having to re-enroll and those suffering from long COVID? Has the call volume actually dropped, or has it increased? Or particularly since people are having to re-enroll in these things.
And the call volume has not let up. The calls come in back to back to back, constantly. You don't have time to recover from the previous call before another call. You're answering another call to assist someone else. And depending on the nature of that call, it can be some kind of difficult to take the next call and get yourself in that frame of mind to assist that person. But we do what we do, and we do it to the best of our abilities.
Thank you.
Katherine, final comment.
Well, as she stated, the calls are, for Marketplace, they're a little bit different because right now they're not as fast coming in through as they used to be. Like during November, during open enrollment, after open enrollment, when we have to do also the 1095 forms for tax season, it's call after call. You barely get a minute to sip water if you get anything. We're not only calling for the benefits of the pay and the conditions. We only get like a 5 minutes break to go use the bathroom or drink some water. And as she stated, in between difficult calls, sometimes you need more than that to decompress a little bit, because you get either really irate consumers on the phone, very mean and vicious, or you get people crying and very emotional. That also get transferred to us, because we are human beings sitting on the phone listening to people's stories. And we work at Maximus not just because of the pay. We love what we do. And we just want to make sure that we get better condition. They're making money because we are the front line doing all the work. And I think as a federal contract, we should be considered federal employees and get the benefits of federal employees, because they're getting the federal money.
Yes.
All right. Sylvia Walker, Katherine Charles, we appreciate both of you joining us on today's show. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.